Oops, take 3. Not my fault. So yeah, we're going over to New Zealand via Scotland, of course, because this is brewed over at Brewdog. And this is the Yeastie Boys Pot Kettle Black South Pacific Porter, or Pacific Porter, not Specific Porter. Clocking in at 6% ABV, fresh and hoppy yet rich and black, mind-bendingly delicious, and a true original. And yeah, picked this up in booths for about £2, I think, even though now I've seen photos on Facebook of people having like 500ml bottles of this, picking it up in Home Bargains for 89p. Home Bargains really up in their game because you can get 6 packs of Founders All Day IPA for £4.50. Now, it's not going to be the freshest, but you know, a crate of that's my hangout beer sorted for an evening. Plus, I still actually need to review that beer, so mental note: pick a 6-pack up before they're all gone. But yeah, Yeastie Boys Pot Kettle Black, a beer that I'd heard so much about over the past few years. Not so much now, but I remember there was a time where loads of people were talking about this, and loads of people in the brewing community here on YouTube were talking about this as well. So I think plenty of clones have been made of this beer. But yeah, fantastic artwork on this can. Love the Yeastie Boys logo. I have had a couple of Yeastie Boys beers in the past, but that was when I was back in Germany, because Hendrik, who was the guy who's bringing this over to Germany, as well as some awesome craft beers, he gave me a couple of samples while I was at the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival. We got talking, and yeah, I'm kind of sad that I'm not that part of that world now. Even though I was just a reviewer in my spare time. I wasn't, going to breweries or anything like that, or hardly any, no influence whatsoever. But it felt great to be part of the German brewing scene, and some of the international beers that I got to try that I wouldn't be able to try here in the UK. It was just it was boggled the mind, and the fact that now you can get this potentially for 89p in Home and Bargains. That's the beauty of the world that we live in when it comes to beer. There's so much range. You could go to the most obscure corner shop and you'll find something that's like, what? I've never seen that before. And yeah, so pick this up from booths. Best before date is the 28th of the 12th, 2017. So really not fresh at all. In fact, less than a month's time, it's going to be past its best. But yeah, I thought I'd give it a punt, and yeah, here we are, 3 takes into the video, and this is what the beer looks like in the glass. So it's not completely jet black. You do get that sort of like slight oakiness around the edges of the glass, but when you look through it into the light, there's a really robust ruby tone coming through there, so light can get through it, so it's not a jet black beer. And even though it's just pretty much a coating on the top, or a dusting, it's about, I'd say, a tankled head. That gets reinforced quite easily when you swizzle it around a bit, but yeah, a lovely looking porter indeed. So let's see what we get in the aroma, even though, spoiler alert, I've looked at it. I've just done that, but I've looked at it, I've smelt it, and I've already tasted it, so it's not one of those reviews. It's one of those reviews, which are all too common on the Clueless Drinker channel. But anyway, so let's give it a sniff. Big, resiny, adult hop character. For a beer that's coming to its end, that hoppy presence is bam in your face. And it's reminded me of like a triple IPA in terms of that hop character. What was it called? The Hercules from Yeastie, or something like the Devil Dancer from Founders, which is a triple, and Yeastie was a double, I think. I can't remember. Both mind-blowing beers, but it's got that really big, resiny, oily, adult hop character, quite powerful and pungent. Get black currant juice in there, a little bit of chocolate, caramel. There's a slight char smokiness there, like a burnt end of a steak almost. You do get the roastiness that you would from a porter, but It's a lot more hoppy than you would expect, and it just gives it such a unique flavour profile on the aroma. Coffee's in there as well, like a coffee bitterness. It smells absolutely fantastic, so let's give it a taste. Cheers. Yeah, still really, really hoppy. Not like that vibrant hop character you get, that like oily, resiny, sticky sort of hop presence. And again, going towards that like triple IPA hop profile, of course, minus the alcohol, because this is only 6%. And, you know, even that, it's such a well-balanced beer. No alcohol presence at all. It's got a really big oakiness in there. Dark chocolate, slightly burnt caramel, big notes of licorice. It's like a really amped up black IPA or Cascadian dark ale, which I prefer the term Cascadian dark ale, because how can you have a, it's been brought up many times, how can you have a black India pale ale? I don't get it. So although Cascadian dark ale sounds pretentious as fuck, it seems more fitting for that beer. But yeah, sticky, treacly, resiny, slight char, like a charred barrel character. Very robust. Didn't I just smell it already? Shouldn't I be tasting it again? Let's go in for another taste. And that licorice is there again. That woody barrel burnt character is there again. It's roasty, it's dark, it's robust. That hoppiness really comes back on. It starts like with a bang and then comes back with a vengeance on the back end. A really strong hop bitterness. And you'd almost think like you're drinking like an obscenely masked high alcohol, like triple IPA. Really, it's got that character to it, but it's got that roasty robustness that you would get from a porter. So it doesn't like stray too much away from being a porter. It's a really aggressively hopped porter. Not sure what the hops are used in this one. Maybe there is something like a Cascade, but being it's a New Zealand brewery, you know, I'm guessing there's got to be a lot of New World hops in there as well. But that's absolutely fantastic. You know, if you love your like salted licorice, you're getting, you know, esters of that. It's just, it's really intriguing. Like dark berries. There's like a slight liqueur character to it, like a dessert liqueur. But that being said, it's not too sweet, not too sickly, not too burnt, not too bitter. I don't think I've had a porter that tastes like this, and God knows what this must taste like fresh. Maybe you kind of want that hoppiness to subside a little bit. I'll have to try and look out for a fresh bottle or can, because this is a beer that I would definitely try again. It's so powerful. It really is, but it's 6%. You know, this is like nightcap tasting beer, but without the nightcap ABV, and it's not going to contribute to a raging hangover. It's very sticky on the mouth as well. It's a beautiful beer. It really is. Might be a little bit too harsh in some aspects for some, but I think where it is slightly unbalanced, it works in its favour, but for the most part it is a balanced flavour with lots of characters coming out. And I can definitely see why there was a lot of hype for this beer. Absolutely fantastic. It's a 10 out of 10 from me. I'm loving this. I just wish you were able to see my first taste of this, because it was like a big explosion of flavour in my mouth. Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. It really is. If you've not tried it, go get yourself a can or a bottle of it. Give it a go for yourself. Even if you're not the biggest fan of porters, I think there's something for everyone with a beer like that. And if you want a beer that feels like it's going to put hairs on your chest, then this is one for you also. So if you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. What are some of your favourite Yeastie Boys beers? Be interested to hear if you've tried like Yeastie Boys from New Zealand, as well as the Yeastie Boys stuff produced by Brewdog. If there's any comparisons or deviations from either source. And yeah, as always, if friends and fellow beer tubers have reviewed it, their reviews will be down below also. So yeah, check out my Porter playlist. Check out my Best of 2017 playlist, because this is definitely on that list. It's going to be a hard one, just making a top 10 video this year. It really, really is. Check out Yeastie Boys, of course. And yeah, check out Brewdog, because they did brew the beer for them. And of course, check out my good friend Hendrik's stuff down below over in Germany. Because if you're in Berlin, you should definitely check out the places that are cited in the description box down below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you'll join me next time for another beer. And I don't know what the hell's going on with my hair. Oh, it needs to be washed. That's why. See you guys later.